everybody, it's Kelsee Briana J, and in today's video, I'm going to be debunking some brown girl beauty myths. And what I mean by brown girl beauty myths are those things that we were told back in the day that have been deeply ingrained into us, into having us thinking that certain things are not going to look good on brown skin. Oh, you should stay away from that. Oh, that doesn't really matter. You don't need to do that. That's not going to look good on you. Yeah, those things. We're going to be talking about it. And this right here is a collab video. And I have 6 other beautiful content creators that I am collabing with for this video. And on the ones and twos, we have my girl GlamGirlChelsea, aka Chelsea. And Chelsea is going to be debunking the myth that we cannot wear bold eyes and bold lips at the same time because, yes we can. And then we have my girl, the fancy face, aka Tina. And Tina's gonna be talking about wearing neon colors in general on brown skin. She's gonna show you how to make those neons pop on the eyes and on the lips. Next we have Jordine, and she's gonna show you the most beautiful nude combinations for your lips and how to make those things work. So if you're a person who's been scared of neutral lipstick, go ahead and head over to her channel. She's gonna show you some combinations, and she's gonna show you how to blend it and how to get all those things popping. And then my girl Mo, aka Mo Makeup Mo Beauty, she's gonna break down luxury foundations and how to navigate within that space. And then we have my Aquariuses left in the collaboration, because y'all know I'm an Aquarius, but my next Aquarius that's in the collaboration with me is Nappy Headed Jojoba, aka my girl T, and she's gonna be talking about pastels on brown skin and how to make those things look beautiful and not ashy. And last but not least, we have my girl Kinky Sweat, aka Alicia, and y'all know I'ma say it, aka Miss Sweat if you're nasty, and she's gonna be breaking down sunscreen on brown skin, because a lot of us think that we don't have to wear it, but we do. So these are such great topics, and I cannot wait to watch everybody's video, because everybody is touching on something that at one point or another, most of us have heard that is either not relevant to us or it's not gonna look good on us. So today in my video, as you all can tell by the title, I'm gonna be talking about blushes and bronzers broken down for brown skin. But I know when I used to freelance a lot of people of color would not like to wear color on their cheeks, meaning they wouldn't want to wear any bronzer because they just were unfamiliar with it and they thought it wouldn't matter. A lot of people of color wouldn't like to wear blush because they felt like it made them look like a clown. But I'm here to show you some techniques and some of my favorite blushes and bronzers so you can feel more comfortable wearing color on your cheeks. And it's not really that scary, guys. We have to get out of that, because blush and bronzer is beautiful and it adds to the overall aesthetic of your look. It pulls it together, and I love the way that blush and bronzer looks, especially on melanin. You do not have to use your red lipstick and put it all over your cheeks like they used to do back in the 80s. We are past that. There are more colors, there are more formulas out on the market, things that are going to be suitable for brown skin. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I will have links to all the other ladies' channels down in the description box. Definitely go show them some love. Everybody is so amazing, and I'm so happy to be working with everybody. So enjoy this video, and I will be chatting with you guys in the comment section. Okay, so here's what my face looks like with no bronzer, no blush, no nothing. I mean, it's suitable, it's cool, but I could definitely take it to the next level with a little bit of cheek action. And also with a little bit of lip gloss, because she needs some moisture. A lot of people feel like this is a completed face, and I personally don't, because my face doesn't really have the dimension that it would have if I would add on some bronzer or some blush or something just to add a little bit of pop back to the face, because I have a lot of color going on my eyes, I have color on my lips now, and on my cheeks it's just bare, as is my forehead and my chin area. But I think that a lot of people get intimidated by blush and bronzer because you don't know exactly where to put it. So let me show you guys a few blush techniques that will really help you with your placement of your blush. Now, everybody's face is different, and on some people, blush can make your face look a lot more pronounced based on the color that you choose. It could clash with your eye makeup, it could clash with your lip makeup, but you just want to be cognizant of the color choices that you're making on your face, and then choose a blush that's going to complement that. Because my eyes are really bold and I have a little bit of a vibrant color on the lips, I do want to go in with with a blush that matches this energy, but it's not necessarily going to overpower the look. So I'm gonna go in with NARS Taj Mahal, and I'm gonna show you guys different techniques on how to apply this blush on your face. So I'm gonna take the Royal and Langnickel BOM 34 brush right here, swirl in here, and I'm going to do a technique called draping, where essentially we are bringing this blush out of the eye and then we're bringing it around to frame the cheek. So it is a continuous motion, and sometimes even with draping you can go above the brow and then bring it down too. And I love this technique. I think it is super pretty. It's very ethereal. It's a little bit more bold than I typically wear my blushes on a daily basis, but for times when I want to be a little bit more extra with it, I will definitely go in with this, and it'll give a really pretty, soft and wispy effect. Now with this, I would recommend to go in with a blush that is a little bit softer, so I wouldn't go in with the most pigmented blush. I think it gave a nice bit of color to the skin, so I think that looks really nice, and this one radiates. I love that. And then if you go down too far, you can always go back here. You can clean her up. You can get it to be a little bit sharper, but draping is just going to give you a nice wash of that color. You could go in with a little bit more and make it more pronounced, like right on the balls of your cheeks if you wanted it to be a little bit more, but I wouldn't go in with too much more up here. You want to keep that nice and airy. So that is a really beautiful blush technique that I love to incorporate from time to time. On the other side, I'm going to take the same blush and brush, and I'm going to apply the blush like I typically do on a regular basis. And I'm going to show you guys what the blush looks like by itself with no bronzer. So with the same brush, I just take the blush and I deposit the majority of it on the balls of my cheeks, and I go in a circular motion and then I sweep it back a little bit, and that's all I do. You can go in with a lot more and be a lot more heavy-handed with blush. I typically don't, but it definitely can either set off your look or it could be the look. It could be the focal point of your face. Because I already have a really round face, I typically don't go this heavy on blush just because I don't feel like it's flattering to my face and face shape. But I think that for a lot of people, it could be, especially if you have minimal makeup on the rest of your face. And like I said, you wanted it to be more of a focal point. So blush definitely can make a statement in and of itself. I wouldn't be too afraid of it because, as you all can see, my face still can handle this color, even though I probably wouldn't go here on my own. But you can always just blend it back just a little bit, and that's also another blush technique. You can take it back just like this, like how people used to really wear their blush more so like this back in the day, but I still love it. It definitely can give you a little moment because it gives you color all the way to the back. And this is a little bit different than draping because it doesn't involve this area, this situation, the curvature of the brush. It just goes straight back. And then you can go in with a little bit of highlight too right here and get that popping. But blush just gives you a little bit more oomph, and you all can see like this side looks a little bit more plain, and you can go in with no blush, but I feel like with the blush it takes it to the next level. But if you go in with too much blush, go back in with your sponge or your foundation brush with no additional products. Go in and just dab. Just dab it away, honey, and it will blend it in, and you don't really have to worry about going overboard, because blush is one of the easiest makeup mistakes to fix. And I say mistakes lightly because makeup can just be a free-flowing thing. You can go in with how much or how little product you want to. Nobody can really tell you how you should. It's just go in and do it how you feel. So you can add a little bit more flavor to it. You can kind of season it down, get the unsalted version of it, just get a little bit of a sprinkle of it. You know, you could do it how you see fit, but mostly this is where I'm at most days. But this blush is very versatile, and as you all can see, you can take it up, you can take it down. And that's the main thing about blushes that I feel like a lot of people get intimidated by. A lot of people just are thinking that blush has to be this super intense thing all the time, and it doesn't. It can literally just be a wash of color, or you can make it as intense as you want it to be. Like I said, this is me. Most days, that's me. So the bronzer that I'm taking is the Prime Beauty Bronzer, and I'm going in with the Rephr P22 brush. So I'm just gonna dab this in here, and I'm gonna make sure that the bronzer is evenly coated all across the brush. And this is important so you don't get a splotchy application. Now with bronzer, you have to be a little bit more specific with your placement than you do blush, but you can always go back in and clean it up. Everything is fixable. So with bronzer, I like to go right underneath my cheekbones, almost in the area where I would apply a contour traditionally. And I like to do this to add a little bit of shape to my face. Bronzer is not contour. Bronzer is just going to add more warmth back to the skin, and it is going to mimic what the sun does when it hits the face, and you have a little bit of that bronziness that the sun rays give you. So bronzer is one of my most favorite parts of my makeup routine, and I like to go in with just a little bit first, and then you can build it up. So I wouldn't go in with a whole lot right off of the bat because it can get muddy depending on which color you use, the undertone of the color, and then if you already have other stuff on your face, you don't want to add too much to where it just looks like somebody punched you. You want to add just a little bit, and then you gradually take it up. And so this is about where I'm going to go with this bronzer. And I like this brush because it's fluffy, and I feel like it blends out that product without me having to do too much work, which is always beneficial, because who wants to spend 30 hours blending something? So, but this formula is really nice, and it really glided on my skin. Some people like to go in with their bronzer on their forehead, and for me, I like to go in with just a little bit, just to add back a little bit of warmth. But I'm not a person who basically burns down their forehead, and that is like old school Sam Fine terminology. He likes to call it when you take the bronzer and the contour and you bring it on down and you reshape your whole face. He calls the forehead part burning down your forehead, and I don't really do all of that for the most part because I have like a regular degular forehead. I like to do it for color purposes more so than I like to do to make my forehead smaller. So then I bring it around and I connect it. So that whole 3 thing is true, but I don't go like this. I like to do mine in stages because I don't want a big old swipe right here on the side of my face. I just take mine right here down on the lower part of my jaw, and you could go in with a contour for this because, like I said, it's going to naturally mimic shadow and it's going to be a little bit more natural looking, but I feel like this suffices for me and my makeup preferences, and I feel like it adds a little bit more shape than I didn't have. So you all can see the difference between just blush. So I don't have the same structure to my face as I do with just the bronzer. Bronzer can hold its own. You could go in and just be fine with just having bronzer to add back that shape, especially if you use a bronzer that's more radiant and it has a little bit of a golden sheen to it, or a reflective sheen that kind of shows as a highlight and a blush product depending on which ones you use. And a lot of the newer ones have this in it more so than the older formulas, but I personally don't mind just going in with a little bit of bronzer on days where I literally want to do no makeup. I like to do my bronzer first, and then I go in with my highlight, and then I go in with my blush, and I do it almost like a sandwich on my cheeks. And I know everybody has their own techniques for how they do that, but I find that that works the best for me. I would much rather go in with just bronzer on my face than just blush, because I feel like one snatched, the other one so. Like I need this. It just brings together the look. But as you guys can see, I put that bronzer right here, and I didn't really curve it too much because I don't want my cheeks to kind of look like the Joker. I like it to look more natural, so I kept it straight. And depending on your face shape, you are going to vary this to go with your bone structure. If you have a round face like me, I wouldn't go in with my bronzer like this, because it's just gonna make your cheeks look even more pronounced. I go in like this to slenderize, to bring it in, to add cheekbones where you might not necessarily see that without me adding a little bit of bronzer there. Like they're there, they just need a little bit of bronzer sometimes. But I like that technique on my face. If you have a traditional oval face and you don't really need to make your cheekbones pop, but you're adding more color, just go in with a nice little swirl, go straight back. again, I wouldn't do too much of this. Like, I feel like that's always just super dramatic. And I know that a few years ago, that's how people used to teach you to do it, but I prefer just a straight angle for most people's face. But to each their own. You can definitely modify it and do whichever technique makes you feel the best about your makeup application. But I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this blush, and again, I'm back with the same brush, and I just like to go here with my blush first. And I just like to go a little boop, 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 and then I bring it back just a little bit. And by doing that, I feel like this is the look. So I just like a little hint of color because I feel like it just marries everything all together. And then without the bronzer, I feel like this is just floating on my skin. I feel like it's not grounded. And then with the bronzer, it's giving me more structure. It's giving me a little bit more and it's bringing my features more so to the forefront, and I like that. If you're a person who doesn't want their cheekbones to appear as prominently, but you want to add a little bit of color back to the face, you can always skip right here in the front of your cheek, and you can just go in right here with a little bit of blush, and that will add color in the same way, but it's not as pronounced as this. But I really like this because it's right in the front. It's like bam. I like to match it with my eyes, make sure it coordinates with my lips, and I feel like I'm good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and even out my makeup and add a few finishing touches, and I will be back and we will talk about this just a little bit more, so stay tuned. So those are all my tips and tricks for blush darling. Now let me tell you guys some of my favorite blushes and bronzers for brown skin, because blushes and bronzers really can pop, especially if you have the right color with the right undertones with the right amount of shimmer. And bronzers can really add to the richness of our melanin. So I want to share with you guys some of my favorite ones and the ones that I think that a lot of you guys will be able to enjoy. So let's start off with blush. So I have to start off with the one that I used in the demonstration, Taj Mahal. This blush is so beautiful. It has such a nice golden iridescence to it, and the oranginess of this blush in partnership with that, and it's just like the richer your complexion is, the more beautiful this blush is gonna look, and the more that it is going to radiate off of the skin. So I absolutely love, love, love this blush. Next is NARS Amour, and this blush is very muted in tone. This blush goes so well with cool toned eye looks that it is not even funny. And this works for people with a warm complexion or people with a cool or neutral complexion. It is a pretty neutral type blush, and I really love it because it's versatile. It's one of those blushes you can throw on and it will go with any look, anytime, anywhere, any place. Next is Cover FX Spiced Cinnamon. And this thing is so rich and it is so beautiful. And if you have a complexion that is NC50 and deeper, it's just gonna pop even more on you. It's gonna look like a more neutrally type blush, but I love the richness of it. It gives you a nice berry, but it's also neutral at the same time. So again, this is one that can work with warm toned eyeshadow looks or cool toned eyeshadow looks, and it doesn't matter what your undertone is, this will work with your complexion. Plus, this blush actually comes with a highlight, so you can layer it up and you can get it to be even more razzle dazzle on your cheeks. So it is definitely a beautiful, beautiful formula and a beautiful, beautiful color. Also from Cover FX's line is Warm Honey, and I love this blush and highlighter combo. This is right up my alley. I love a nice neutral blush because I like to play on my eyes a lot, as I've said. And then when you put this on, it just takes a back seat, but it gives you a little bit more color and a little bit more drama. And I feel like it blends in so well with bronzers, and I love this color right here on my complexion because it looks like a very natural highlight, like it radiates from within, but just with a little bit more kick. So I think this one is gorgeous, and like I said, I think that my complexion, ranging from deeper complexions, can use this duo and it will look beautiful and it'll just pop the deeper your complexion is. So I think this one is absolutely gorgeous and it just works. Next, I had to pull out the blushes from my kit, and these are some true ride or die blushes because I've been using these tones for years. I love these blushes. They are from MAC, and a lot of people sleep on MAC and they're like, MAC is old school. I don't really fool with that nowadays, but honestly, some of these still are bangers. So my number one go-to blush for women of color, especially if you have a deeper complexion, is Raisin. Raisin. It is going to give you Angela Bassett cheeks. I kid you not, it's so beautiful, and I could just see it right now. It looks like a nice raisin tone, and on me it's a little bit darker, so I don't typically go for it, but I could if I wanted to sheer it out and use it a little bit more light-handedly. But this one right here, it just pops. It gives you the structure, it melts into the skin, and it is an overall absolutely stunning color. I love Raisin. It is my go-to for sure. This is like a full palette of my MAC blushes that I've depotted, but I mean, that one is definitely one of my ones that I know is gonna work. I don't have to question it. Same thing with Peach Twist. Now, Peach Twist gives you a little bit of a twist. You would think it's just gonna be this dull kind of peachy color and it's not really gonna bring life to your cheeks, but you put it on and it transforms. It almost has a surprise shift to it where it's a little bit more golden than you expect, and I love that about it. And it works on so many different complexions, and on my complexion, it looks so sun-kissed. It looks like I've been somewhere in Miami on the beach laying up, getting tan, having a good time, drinking margaritas. Like, I love me some Peach Twist. It's one of my favorite blushes for sure. Now I have some bronzer options. Now with the bronzer, I truly feel like there could be a little bit more improvement in this area, because there are bronzers that work for deeper complexions, but as far as them being readily available, I didn't see that. And I was doing a lot of research looking at the different tones of bronzers available, and a lot of times when we get to bronzers for deeper complexions, they are very red, and sometimes that may work on your undertone, but if you are like me and you're a golden undertone but you just have a deeper complexion, red on you can look like you've been burned. So you want to be careful with your undertones, and I picked out a few of my favorites, plus I have a surprise option that some of you all may not have ever thought about before. So let me start off with the bronzer that I used in the video, and this one is by a black owned brand, and this one is by Prime Beauty, and this bronzer is FUBU, for us by us. And I like this bronzer because it is more warm, but it's not all the way red. It's got a little bit of a neutral tone to it, so I can wear it. I think, again, if you have a deeper complexion, this one is gonna add that richness. I really like this new NARS bronzer, and this color works really well for my complexion, and I think it will work if you have a deeper complexion than mine. But as far as them adding colors that are similar to this, where it's more neutral golden and not warm when you go to the next deepest color, I do think they still need to work on that. I think that the next darkest color of this bronzer is a little bit too red, but I feel like this one covers a good amount of ground, but they could work and improve that next deepest color. This one is Casino. I probably could go up a color and use the Laguna, but I prefer to go in with the more light hands with the darker color. That way, if I wanted to be more intense, I don't have to spend so much time building it up. I could just get that intensity with one swipe if I wanted to, or if I wanted it to be a little bit more light, I could go in with the light hands and I can build it up gradually. That way, I don't have to do more work. If I get the lightest one, you would have to just keep building and building and building. So I like that about this one, and the formulation of this is really, really nice. I love my Guerlain Terracotta Bronzer. I love the smell of it. I love the way that it applies. I like how it's a golden bronzer, and I love how it gives me a natural color back to my skin. The only thing that I don't love about this bronzer is that they discontinued the deeper colors that they had, but this color will work if you're about NC 45, maybe even NC 47, and then from there, I don't think that it will be the best bronzer choice for you, but this bronzer on my complexion is my perfect bronzer shade. So if you are a medium complected person and you are looking for a nice golden toned bronzer that is going to give you a little bit more than natural, just a little bit more than natural, this one will be right up your alley, and it blends out like butter. Next, we have our wild card that I was telling you guys about, and I know a lot of people may not think to do this, but you can always go in with a deeper powder of a setting powder shade and then use that as your bronzer. One of my favorite powders to do that with is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and MAC Mineralized Skin Finish is a baked powder, and this powder has a subtle iridescence to it. So I love my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. If you guys watch my videos, then you will know I use this every single day. There's no setting powder that I like better than this one. So if you're a person who really struggles with finding a bronzer shade and you feel like every bronzer is just a little bit to this and to that, you can go in with a setting powder and then get a deeper color than your complexion and use that as your bronzer, because technically with bronzer we're just looking for warmth, and a powder is a powder is a powder. So if you see one that works and it's a color that you like, grab it. But the last bronzer recommendation that I have for this video are the Fenty Beauty bronzers, and these are called these Sunstalker bronzers. I think that Fenty has definitely started the ball rolling with getting more shades of bronzers made, and I love my color that I use, Island Pink. I know that some people have said that the deeper colors are a little bit warmer, but I would definitely check it out because it may just pop on your complexion. So I hope that you all have enjoyed the demo portion of this video as well as the recommendations that I have for you guys. And just know the overall message of this video and of this entire collaboration with all the ladies that I'm collaborating with is to not be afraid to express yourself via makeup or however you see fit. Don't let people tell you that what you're doing is wrong if you're not hurting anybody and you are just having fun and you are expressing yourself. All of these myths that we have been told our entire lives are being debunked one video at a time. And definitely go check out all of the other ladies in this collaboration. I know that they are going to kill these topics. These topics are something that have been ingrained in us. We have to take it out and we have to embrace the freedom that we have to try makeup, because at the end of the day it washes off. So these ladies are going to take you through different ones. Make sure you check them out. I will have them links down in my description box. They are all so beautiful and so talented, and I so appreciate everybody doing this video and collaborating for this, and I want to do more things like this. If you guys have more ideas, let me know down in the comment section, and let me know something that you guys were told back in the day that you shouldn't do that, honey, because they don't look good on brown skin. So I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and I will check you all in my very next video, which will be super soon. Smooches. Bye.